Yeah, so there's a few layers to that. I think as we go through the scriptures, there's a developing concept that sin is its own punishment. It's the wages of sin that is death. It is sin that destroys us. Wrath is God consenting to us experiencing the consequences of our sin. That's a lot different than him wrathing us, which, wrath, if we take it literally, actually means violent anger. Will we experience violent anger at the hands of God? Well, in the early church, they said, no, this is a metaphor for what sin does to us as we engage it. And so let's say with a meth addict, God doesn't come along and say, well, you awful meth addict, I'm going to cause an overdose that will kill you. It's like, no, meth is what does it. Sin is what does it. And so God's part in that is he does consent to our defiance. He's not going to strap me down to a gurney or handcuff me every time I engage in sin. But what he does want me to know is as I engage sin, I will experience the fruit of sin. So that's one layer to it. The second thing I'd want to say about that then is that there is a judgment. But the question is, will that judgment be retributive, which means payback or vengeance? Or could the judgments of God be restorative instead? And it seems to me that this kind of vengeful, wrathful, violent punishment that's even the lowest form of justice in this world. In fact, is it even justice? But the highest form of justice would be a kind of restorative judgment that rehabilitates and restores us. And so you see this in Hebrews 12 when the author is saying, look at you guys, whatever trial you're going through, whatever chastisement you seem to be experiencing, always remember that it's at the hands of a loving Father with an agenda to restore you. So when the fire of God comes to consume, it's not to destroy us, it's to consume our chains and to set us free. The destruction is not to the human soul, but to the prisons that we hide in. And so this is sort of how they're treating it, let's say, by the 4th century. And so John Cassian will say, Saint John Cassian will say, don't literalize the anger or wrath of God. If you do, you are creating an idol and committing a monstrous blasphemy. Instead, understand that the wrath is what sin does to you, but grace is God's response.